Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the latest reissue of Leonard Slatkin's Rachmaninoff symphonies and orchestral music and concertos and all the other stuff that he did for Vox with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. His earliest recordings, or some of his earliest recordings, and they were marvelous. And you know, nobody really knew. It was hard to tell because they were issued on Vox, which was super cheapy and super low quality in terms of pressings. And so you really didn't know. You could tell that the performances were good, but the sonics were well, let's just say, compromised by the fact that when you took the thing out of its cheap paper sleeve and stuck it on your turntable and dropped your tone arm, it went etc. And that was difficult. It really was, because, you know, the performances are pretty thrilling. I did not learn the Symphonic Dances from this recording. My first Symphonic Dances was Andre Previn's with the London Symphony, which is very good. I mean, it really is. And it was a little bit different, I think, texturally than this one. I don't know if this one has the extra piano riffs in the first movement. You know, the part when it's going da-da-da, and the piano has some chromatic runs like this. And they're not in the score. And, you know, as soon as I started making comparisons, of course, this is the kind of thing that turned me into a critic, because I heard something in one recording that I didn't hear in the other, and I wanted to know, well, what did he write? Well, apparently there are some pencil annotations somewhere that may have those chromatic runs. I don't know. But if you hear what I heard, you may notice in the first movement a couple little piano googies that don't happen in all performances, and don't make yourself nuts over it. I mean, they don't matter. They really don't. But Slatkin's Rachmaninoff, I mean, he's just, you know, maybe the greatest living exemplar of Rachmaninoff in performance today, because he remade all this stuff for Naxos with the Detroit Symphony, and the performances are just as good, if not better in some cases. I mean, it's, you know, 6 in one, a half dozen in the other. It depends. But, you know, this performance of the Symphonic Dances absolutely nails the ending. The ending's controversial. The question is, do you let the tam-tam reverberate, or do you not let the tam-tam reverberate? Both ways have their legitimate arguments based on what the score says. It's ambiguous. So either way is equally valid, and we've had a whole discussion about it previously, and we're not having another one. Believe you me, we're not. Let's just say that they're both equally valid, but I vastly prefer a little tam-tam overhang there, because it's just so exciting. I mean, and the ending is supposed to be exciting, and why not do the most exciting way? You know, a sharp cutoff doesn't allow the instrument enough time to do what the score says it has to do, which is have a lot of hard whacks that are tied, and you know, never mind. We're not going to go into it again. Let's just say it sounds fabulous, and here it is. See what I mean? Isn't it fabulous? Now let's see what else we get on the disc, aside from this marvelous performance of the Symphonic Dances. I mean, that piece is such a discovery. I mean, if you're a Rachmaninoff person and you know, like, the second piano concerto and the vocalese and maybe the second symphony, you know, the fact that he wrote this thing, it's not called a symphony, it's not called a concerto, it's not a symphonic poem, it's just a masterpiece. I mean, that's what it is. It's phenomenal. Anyway, so there's that. And then we have, let's see, the Capriccio on Gypsy themes, which is known as the Caprice bohèmien, which is really quite lovely. It's one of his best early works. It's from 1892 to 94. He spent a lot of time on it, and it's in the tradition of Tchaikovsky's Capriccio Italien or the Rimsky-Korsakov Capriccio Espagnol. I mean, that's what it is. That's his version of it. And quite frankly, you could take all three of them and make a fabulous second half program out of them. You really could. They would work well because they have lots of internal contrast of, fast and slow and loud and soft. It would really be nice. It's a lovely work. And then we've got the Scherzo in D minor from 1888, which is completely and totally forgettable and sounds like it could have written by anybody wandering down, the street in Leningrad or someplace like that. And then we've got the Isle of the Dead, which is one of the great late romantic, decadent tone poem expostulations in the history of orchestral music. I don't think there is another piece of music that has such an incredible and palpable sense of dread, of just really powerful atmosphere. And given the fact that it's basically a 20-minute long slow movement, it's incredibly gripping right from the very beginning. It's in 5/8 time. The opening tune is da 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 do 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 do. So it's 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1, and that rhythm is really, really important. Of course, Slatkin understands that, and he makes sure that you understand that, because it's that lapping rhythm. If you know the Berklan original, there's this island and with poplar trees, tall green trees, and there's a boat going into like a cove. It's like a cave in it, and there's a shrouded figure sitting in the boat like this. It's obviously carrying a dead thing in it, and it's such a fabulous painting too. I mean, Arnold Berklan was a marvelous romantic painter, full of moody atmosphere, and my God, Rachmaninoff captures it so well. Just an amazing, amazing piece of music, and it's wonderfully performed here with really powerful climaxes and an inexorable feeling of crescendo as it proceeds. Really marvelous. And so this is a wonderful disc, and it sounds better than ever. And you don't have to worry about the horrible pressings. So if you didn't get this the first time, or if you didn't get the earlier Vox CDs, which I have like 5 versions of, I definitely grab this and indulge yourself in this amazing Symphonic Dances. It's so beautiful. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.